Well, cybersecurity experts now warning that the Sony hack may just be the beginning. The next targets on the list could be the electric grid and even Wall Street.
Wow. So just how vulnerable are we in reality to a hack that could debilitate our entire economy? Here to weigh in is the House Cybersecurity Chairman, Pennsylvania Congressman Patrick Meehan. Congressman, how vulnerable are we, and what can we do with the government to work with the private sector to get us less vulnerable?
Well, vulnerable because we're part of a global network that's connected throughout the world. And you've seen now state-sponsored capabilities for terrorist actions that have been able to be coordinated from all over the world. So the government working far more effectively with the private sector is the key. But 90% of the assets are in the private sector. We've got to be able to collaborate in real time between the government and private sector.
Do you believe, in fact, that if those like North Korea are suspected of being behind this solely or with others, that they should be back on the list of state-sponsored terrorism?
That's certainly one of the options in terms of how we respond to this. It could include some form of sanctions. It could include moving closer to South Korea in some kind of a pivot. One of the key things you have is a discussion of proportionality and the recognition that any kind of acts have the potential to escalate. And you also need to appreciate what's the motives behind a place like North Korea. How much credibility do we give them in the world if we overreact?
Congressman, we're in that gray area where you can tell the private sector to work with the government when it comes to cybersecurity. A lot of people say, no, I don't want the government staring over my shoulder. Remember the whole NSA situation.
Sure.
Do you understand how the public might say, back off a little bit?
Very much so, but that's why the new legislation that we passed, which includes privacy protections, was endorsed by the Chamber of Commerce and the ACLU as being both pro-security and pro-privacy. And what it does is it enables there to be protections against abuse by the government of private information.
Does it rank offenses in terms of crime or terrorism and then the consequences that would go along?
Well, certainly you're looking, as we discussed in the past, crime has been the primary motivation, but terrorism is now something that's of equal concern, and particularly when you get sophisticated actors. Now, this is not something where the big four, China, Korea, Russia, and Iran, usually have a reason not to try to engage in terrorism, but, you know, this is an act in which they have.
Yeah, it's just amazing because the first hack into Sony was from Bolivia. The second one was Thailand. So it's happening from everywhere. And I think America, if we don't go have short-term amnesia, will be behind you as you push this legislation through. Congressman Patrick Meehan, thanks so much.
Thanks,
have a great Christmas.
Thanks so much. Great to be with you.